This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the Master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories. And welcome to my review of Ahsoka, Season 1, Episodes 1 and 2, titled Master and Apprentice and Toil and Trouble. There will be spoilers for both episodes, and as always, I will go through a recap, then give my review of the episodes. So let's go straight into it. A New Republic prison ship transporting Morgan Elsbeth is contacted by a shuttle that has Jedi clearance codes. Suspicious about this, the captain goes down to meet them and believes that they are fake Jedi trying to rescue the prisoner. And going down, he meets with them and tells them they are under arrest and he's not falling for their trick. The two pull out their lightsabers and begin to cut through the New Republic forces. One of them, the apprentice, Shin Hati, goes to the bridge to take care of the bridge crew as Balin's skull cuts through New Republic forces and makes it to the cell of Morgan Elsbeth, releasing her and taking her off the ship. Meanwhile, Ahsoka reaches the temple where the map to the location of Thrawn is. She goes and cuts through the floor and makes it down to the temple where she solves the puzzle to be able to go and get the map. Finding it, she exits when she is contracted by her droid ally Huyang, who is breaking up. Ahsoka comes out and sees an HK series assassin droid and prepares to battle it. As she's surrounded by more, she manages to cut holes into the ground, dropping many of the HK droids and taking out the ones remaining. But they activate their self-destruct function, and Ahsoka flees, heading through the ruins of the temple. She eventually makes it to her ship just in time as the droids self-destruct, and she escapes with Hu Yang. They are both contacted by General Hera Syndulla of the New Republic, and making it to Home 1, they go and meet up with Hera. The two walk to the command center where she is shown the footage of Balin and Shin breaking into the New Republic prison transport and freeing Morgan Elsbeth. Hera asks Ahsoka if she knows who either of them are, and Ahsoka does not. She then begins to go and show Hera the map to find the location of Thrawn and Ezra, and tells her she does not know how to unlock it. Hera goes and tells her that she should go to Sabine, and that is her best chance of being able to unlock it, since Sabine is a master and has a very good eye for art. On the planet of Lothal, Governor Wright Rosati goes and proceeds over a ceremony where they celebrate the anniversary of the liberation of Lothal by the Phoenix crew, and Asadi goes and dedicates a artwork made of the Phoenix crew. He then calls upon Sabine Wren, one of the members of the Phoenix crew, to make a speech, and she is nowhere to be found. He sends out forces to check on her location, and two E-Wings go out. Sabine, not wanting to give her speech, goes and flies under one of the E-Wings that was blocking off her path and goes to the old communication tower that Ezra Bridger once called his home. Sabine then goes and watches a message that Ezra left her after going to confront Thrawn for the final time in the Battle of the Fall. Balin, Shin, Merrick, and Morgan Elsbeth all go to the wreckage of the temple where Ahsoka retrieved the map from. and although they weren't able to get there, they know most likely where it is going, and Shin is sent to Lothal to go and retrieve the map. Ahsoka goes and lands on Lothal, and Sabine quickly goes to meet with her and Governor Sadi, who does question her for not being at the ceremony the day before, and Sabine simply brushes it off. Ahsoka then goes and shows Sabine the map and the layout of the temple, so Sabine can go and look through it to try and figure out the pattern and how to unlock the map. Sabine wants to go look at this on her own, but Ahsoka tells her she can't leave the ship with it, and she goes to talk with Huyang, who has figured out something with the lightsabers. Going through the designs, he is able to match Balin's lightsaber with him, identifying Balin to Ahsoka and telling him about her, and assuming the other is Balin's apprentice. And at the same time, Shin has landed on Lothal, and Sabine has gone once again to the old comm tower to look at the map there and begin to figure it out. She then figures out the pattern after a long time looking at it and uses it to unlock the map, and learning that Thrawn and Ezra are in another galaxy. She quickly goes out to calculate other stuff, but is quickly ambushed by an HK assassin droid trying to fight it. She manages to damage one, but another makes it inside and destroys her equipment and steals the map. Sabine follows him down and is forced to fight Shin and get into a lightsaber duel. She has contacted Ahsoka, who rushes over, but Shin, being far more experienced and having the power of the Force, manages to defeat her and stabs Sabine. Sabine is brought to a medical facility on Lothal, where she begins to recover. Meanwhile, Shin makes it back to her master, and discovering the place for the map to go, they place it in and contact Morgan Elsbeth and Merrick to go and meet them there. Ahsoka returns to the comm tower to investigate if anything is salvageable, and is quickly ambushed by one of the HK droids, who Sabine turned out to have not destroyed but managed to repair itself enough. Ahsoka easily cuts it down, removing its head and returning it to Sabine, who is pretty easily able to begin hacking into it and reveals its location of origin, being Corellia. Ahsoka then leaves Sabine behind, and Hera comforts her. Meanwhile, Morgan Elsbeth has managed to fully unlock the map, gaining the path. She then sends Shin and Merrick to Corellia to go and get one of the last pieces they will need. Arriving on Corellia, Ahsoka and Hera begin to talk to the leader of one of the companies and asks to see Morgan Elsbeth's former holdings, and although he is reluctant at first, when Hera threatens to make this a full inspection, he eventually complies. Ahsoka and Hera, on the way there, begin to discuss many things and about the map, with Ahsoka being a little regretful that she didn't bring it since now it has been taken by their enemies, and Hera points out if she didn't take it to Sabine, they would have never had it opened in the first place. Back on Lothal, Hu Yang goes and visits the fully recovered Sabine and begins to talk to her about her lightsaber. When Sabine points out that it is Ezra's lightsaber, Hu Yang, who has been investigating it, points out that she has had it longer than Ezra did and has made her own modifications, making it hers. He then goes and gives it to her, telling her how she may not have Force abilities but is still worthy to be trained as a Jedi apprentice. Back on Corellia, Ahsoka and Hera begin to question the leader of the company even more about what they're doing there, and if they could start to question other people in the company to see if anyone is loyal to the Empire. And although he begins to dodge the questions, one of the protocol droids mentions that he saw an HK series assassin droid walking around and believes that it is on a ship that is currently departing. Before anything can happen, the employees begin to attack, calling out a call for the Empire, and Ahsoka and Hera are easily able to dispatch them as Ahsoka breaks through the window to pursue the ship and try and prevent it from escaping. She is cut off by Merrick and an HK series droid and begin to battle them as Hera rushes down to the Phantom and begins her pursuit of the ship. And as they do this, Ahsoka manages to take down the HK droid and continues to battle Merrick. The battle is going well until he throws his lightsaber at her, which she easily dodges, but he uses that as a distraction to be able to jump onto his ship where Shin is waiting for him. He returns his lightsaber to his hand as they escape, and the pursuit of Chopper and Hera is cut off as they go to hyperspace, but they did manage to plant a tracking device on the ship before it could escape. On Lothal, Sabine lays out her Mandalorian armor and then goes and gives herself a haircut as she prepares to go on the hunt for Ezra. On Corellia, all of the people from the company who are still alive are taken into custody, and as Ahsoka prepares to leave, getting the tracking information to where the hyperdrive has been taken, she is contacted by Sabine, who says that she is ready. Ahsoka goes to Lothal as Sabine looks upon the mural that her family, the Phoenix crew, is painted on, and as she looks on it, Ahsoka arrives and the two meet up and prepare to leave. Boarding the ship, they head out to follow the tracking device's coordinates. At those coordinates, the Eye of Sion, being a giant ship with a massive hyperdrive ring, is in construction to travel to this other galaxy. And on board the ship, Morgan Elsbeth is in communication with Balin, Shin, and Merrick, who she orders to go and take out Ahsoka Tano, who they know is on her way there. As they prepare for her, they also prepare to travel to the other galaxy to rescue Grand Admiral Mithron Yoroto. Wow, those were incredible episodes. I truly loved these first two episodes of Ahsoka, and this easily made it to my second favorite Disney original Star Wars content, with number one being Andor. And I am not including the Clone Wars in this since that is all based on pre-Lucas stuff and was all written and was only slightly changed for season 7 of Clone Wars. But we're not here to talk about that amazing show. We're here to talk about this amazing show, which its first two episodes honestly just pushes it above The Mandalorian, and while watching it, it just felt like, to me at least, watching the Luke scene from Mando season 2 for basically like an hour and a half. And yeah, as I said, this was an incredible first two episodes. I really don't have too many complaints. Biggest one is that the ending scene from Rebels was slightly changed. And although that is a little disappointing, I guess I can understand that there is some changes from animation to live action. Although I would have loved to see the Ahsoka the White as everyone calls it, suit in live action, which would have been a really cool thing to see. And I wonder why they didn't do it. But besides that, honestly, pretty minor cosmetic complaint. I just truly loved this episode. Well, both of these episodes in their entirety. They were done so well. It was so interesting to see, and it was extremely interesting to watch. Every moment of it was just truly crazy, and I just, as I said, could not wait to see the next episode. The story was done incredibly. Ahsoka was done really well, so was Sabine. I am so glad that they decided to not make her force sensitive and only be trained in the Jedi arts. And obviously, I could have just said Viscount Dooku just for the joke, but I decided not to. And just mentioned I could have made the joke. And yeah, as I said, truly incredible. I think they did such a great job. This truly does feel like a sequel to Star Wars Rebels, and very easily can be considered Star Wars Rebels Season 4 if you want to. And I think that is totally a valid thing to say. It was done incredibly well, and I, as I said, really enjoyed it. I think that it did enough to help you understand what's going on while not having to go and recap everything that happened in Rebels. And although I definitely would have wished there was more references to the Clone Wars, I think they did have at least enough, and we'll probably look at more at a later point. And also looking at this episode, well, these first two episodes specifically are showing how they should have done The Force Awakens, where they're looking for a character with the map being found, but also the fact that they didn't make the villains overpowered and that Sabine did fall in the fight to Shin and wasn't able to easily beat her. It seems at least Dave Filoni isn't going to be following the path J.J. Abrams did, and it seems that they will probably be finding Ezra and Thrawn probably in episode 4, maybe at the end of episode 3, from what it looks like. I'm assuming the next episode will be them going and battling on the forest planet and them leaving for the next galaxy. And episode 4 will mainly be an exploration of the new galaxy and going to Thrawn and Ezra's location. Although I could be wrong, I see one of two ways where Ahsoka and Sabine are taken prisoner and are taken to the galaxy with them, or they have to use the Purrgil to be able to get to the new galaxy. And I also think that this is most likely one of the 7 satellite galaxies from Legends, and is not going to be, an actual full-on like another galaxy, but it will be sort of like a mini galaxy that is relatively close to the Star Wars galaxy. And I'm interested to see how they're going to go through stuff like the hyperspace anomaly and trying to make it through the unknown regions to get to this other galaxy. But like I was saying, most likely it will be in one of the what was called sub galaxies in Legends, which actually is part of one of those different galaxies. and I don't think they're gonna be going to like an extreme far out galaxy, but one that's far out enough that hasn't been explored in its entirety and is hard to get to. And obviously, there is no transportation between the two galaxies because it still is going to have to be partially connected. But I think that we're not going to somewhere like the Yuzhan Vong galaxy, which is like trillions and trillions of light years away from the Star Wars galaxy and took a couple million years from is my best estimate, and from what I can remember, I don't remember fully, for them to travel at sublight speeds because of the hyperspace anomaly and the fact they kind of don't really have traditional hyperdrives to be able to reach the Star Wars galaxy, although they did reach it as far back as around 4000 BBY in the Old Republic era in Legends. But still, I don't think they're going out that far. And as I said, it's most likely one of those satellite galaxies. But looking at everything, my prediction, as I said, is they'll probably be finding Thrawn and Ezra at the end of episode 4, since we have seen footage and it's usually footage only from the first half of the season. And I'm assuming episode 5, maybe 6, maybe episodes 4 and 5 will be an exploration of that new galaxy. But I say episode 5, or we'll just say 6, will explore a brief overview of Ezra and Thrawn's exile and also have some stuff taking place in the modern day. Other thing that will happen is Timothy Zahn will turn those few moments into a new Thrawn trilogy of books. And after that, I think that we will be able to see just, a few other things. It'll be pretty interesting to see where they go with this, and I really can't wait to see it continued. But as you can tell, I loved Ahsoka, and easily is number 2, as I said. It is, as I said, right in my opinion, just behind Andor, as it already surpassed The Mandalorian, which I'm considering even season 1 and 2. If I can just look at each season individually, so far has just been far more exciting to me, and I really just can't wait to see it. And the one question I do have, sort of outside of the show and to the larger Mandoverse as a whole, is why did it take Ahsoka so long to go and begin looking into the location of Thrawn with the Morgan Elsbeth Temple seemingly revealed in season 2 of Mandalorian, and her not going until this point? And although you could think that this is set before, it is said that this is to be set after. If you go on Disney Plus and look on the Star Wars official timeline order, you will see this is set after Book of Boba Fett. And although it doesn't show for Mandalorian season 3 since they don't keep the seasons separate, which I think at least for the time order they should do, so you could, well, some people would know that you have to watch season 2, then Book of Boba Fett, then season 3. I think that would be a little more helpful, but still, I think that it is a little out of a timeline, and my best guess is that Ahsoka went and took Morgan into custody, taking a while to figure out where the exact location of the temple was, and she didn't get a chance to tell her allies. And after she was rescued, she sent her closest forces to try and receive the map before Ahsoka, and Ahsoka just barely beat them there. So Ahsoka probably just left from that ship at the beginning of the episode and was just able to get there just ahead of the others, or it was a harder location to find and she was only given the general idea. And in Book of Boba Fett, she was going to Luke to get his help to find the exact location. Or there is a chance that the first two episodes are set before the Book of Boba Fett and the rest of the show is set after. Who really knows? This does need to be explained because it is odd that there's such a large gap, but I don't know what you think about that and what you think about the show overall, so please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.